of the AFEM Group, a blockchain-based firm, the first government-backed NFT initiative. She has excelled as a business developer, project manager, seasoned analyst, and key figure in the decentralized technology space. Deborah has well-grounded experience within and outside the traditional banking industry and has taken bold steps in building and scaling the AFEM blockchain group. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Deborah.
Can you stand up on your feet, please? While we celebrate Deborah as she comes on stage, everyone, please. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, everybody. It's such a great pleasure to be here in Enugu. I think the last time I was in Enugu was during my past life when I was working in the bank. I remember having all the amazing local foods. Still hoping to try some if Uche will permit me. But it's so great to be here, and it's such an amazing gathering. Thank you guys for having me. Just a little tip before we start. I don't really enjoy talking a lot, so I'm mostly looking forward to the panel session, but I'll be happy to share a couple of things. I think today I'm talking about exporting African blockchain tech products. But before we start, I just want to do a quick survey just to have a fair understanding of the kind of people we have in the room today. If you're a trader, please signify. Okay. If you're a developer, technical developer, please signify. Okay, you're none of the above, but you're building a product. Or you're, pretty much doing something in the blockchain space. You're a marketer, you're selling a product or something, please signify. All right. Okay. So that takes us to the topic, exporting African blockchain products. And just to start, when we talk about exporting something or exporting a product, what first comes to mind, in my opinion, is that you are trying to show the world what you can do. You're trying to show the world how innovative you are, whether as a developer or as a talent or, whatever it is that you venture in, trying to show the world that this is what you are. And in doing that, so today I'm going to be talking from the perspective of a builder. I'm a builder. I'm not a developer. I love developers so much. I wish I could, do what they do. I think they are doing amazing jobs. And so when it comes to product development, there are a lot of things that we need to pay attention to, especially in a growing ecosystem like this. We are all aware that the blockchain ecosystem is still very early, but it's an ecosystem that is moving pretty fast. And so to be able to actually secure your presence in such an industry, it's important to do it right? And for you to say that you want to export a product or a service, it's also important that that product or service meets a certain standard. And so first of all, personally, what I've also experienced, over the past year building in the blockchain space is that it's also very important to identify what it is that we're building. How is this product solving a problem? Because what you see is that, and it happens, I've been a victim of this as well. An idea, whatever idea it is, no matter how beautiful it is a bubble. An idea is still a bubble until you actually start implementing and working towards taking that idea to the market. So what I usually tell people is, First of all, when building a product, when building an initiative, first things first, come out of your bubble. And I know that this might sound a bit strange because a lot of times we're very deep into our thoughts about a product. We're in love with this product. We feel this is, the best product ever. This product is going to, revolutionize the XYZ industry. But until we actually try to take that product to market, it's still a bubble. And what are the things that we need to identify first, building a product? What solution are we trying to, what problem are we trying to solve with this product? Because if you look at unicorn companies like Meta, for instance, the reason why those companies are what they are today is because, the reason why those products are what they are, or why those companies are what they are today is because people use their products. While building a product, it's important to have at the back of your mind the use cases of this product. Why am I building this product? Who would use this product? What problem exactly is this problem solving? Let's take global trade, for instance. You hear countries that are importing cocoa. You hear some countries are importing toothpicks and, different sort of things. Why are they importing? They're importing because they need those products, right? Or they don't have the required infrastructure to develop those products within their country. And same goes for the tech space as well. For your product to be wanted, quote and unquote, it has to be solving a problem. So it's a very, very, very important thing to note that when you're building a product, map out what the product aims to solve. And then, secondly, what does the world need, right? You're exporting a product. Does the world need that product, right? Still an offset of, what the product aims to solve. What does the product actually need? What does the world actually need? And when you look, still going back to, coming out of your bubble, you really do not understand an ecosystem until you come out of your bubble. And let me explain. So, pretty much most of us are already conversant with the blockchain ecosystem, right? And when you're building in such an ecosystem, it's important that we understand what's happening within that ecosystem, right? That way, we're able to identify different ways to plug in. You cannot navigate an ecosystem if you don't understand it. If you're building a product, right, you need to understand the ecosystem that you're releasing that product into. I know that some things that I've realized about developers as well is that most times we're very, very much just involved in the product aspect of things. And that's why you see that most developers have a co-founder that's, focused on the business aspect of things, marketing, and etc. Because before you can send a product to the market, you need to be sure that this product fits this market that I'm launching it into. Else, you're just going to build a product that will be the best kept secret. So, in understanding an ecosystem, so let's take the blockchain ecosystem for example. There are different factors that influence what happens in the blockchain ecosystem. Regulations, policies, macroeconomic factors as well that dampen investor sentiments, for instance. So, and in trying to understand an ecosystem, it helps you to also properly position yourself. Because if you understand an ecosystem, you know how best you can fit in. You know the kind of solutions that you can bring to the table. But if not, you're just probably, just building products that are not useful, right? And again, it's very easy to get lost in that because oftentimes we're very, very passionate about the ideas that we have in mind, without even actually realizing that this particular idea does not really fit the market that we're trying to sell it to. And so no idea is a waste, right? It all just depends on positioning. And talking about like what kind of products the world needs, what kind of product do you think the world needs from Africa right now? Since we're talking about the topic, exporting African blockchain products, what kind of products do you think the world right now needs from Africa? A product that the world does not have, that what they can get from Africa. Does anyone have an idea? I have a gift share for anyone that attempts to take this question. There's a product that you think the world is lacking and Africa can solve, or African can position for that deficit. Okay.
Okay, I was thinking about it. I found a product. The word like African, what they know Africans as are like the suffering, slavery, every other thing about Africans. And looking at there are three types of, like, there are three categories under entertainment. There is the game development, there is music, and then there are movies. The reason why our movies are moving forward and our music, like, it's moving forward is because they are selling Afro music. They are not selling Western. Because Westerners are even tired of listening to themselves. That is why they are more like into Afro music now. So the other part missing is actually the game development. So now, trying to integrate game development and blockchain, and also actually telling a story through our games of African history. Just that is an idea that came up, and by God's grace, if I'm able to build it. But then I'm just saying the idea out so that anybody that it's, I don't know. Let me use Igbo. I come or so, like, if anybody can actually, create a game that tells a story about African history, make it beautiful, that it will actually bring us out, and show the beauty of African. It's not about suffering. We are not really suffering. I enjoy Nigeria, and there are a lot of things to enjoy in Nigeria.
I agree with you. Okay, one more. Thanks for that contribution.
All right. I think one thing that the world needs from Africa is Africa. In the sense of Africa as its population, right? And people. Because the world doesn't really, there's nothing new, right? They have the blockchain, they are passing it to us. They have the internet, they're passing it to us. So the only thing that the world needs, Canada is crying for immigrants to come. America is crying for people to come. Italy is crying for people to come over. So I think what Africa can comfortably export is Africa, which is our population. More than 70%, more than 60% of Africans are under the age of 18. So that is what Africa should export: the talent, the people.
Okay, you actually just said the answer that I had in mind. But going back to, sorry, what's your name?
Ezine.
Ezine. Yes. Going back to what Ezine said, actually, the blockchain ecosystem has really presented a platform for us to tell our stories. And so, talking about that game, I know of a group of developers, amazing guys in Port Harcourt, building something like that. A gamified system that tells the African story. So they have like NFTs that represent different characters telling the African story. It's amazing, amazing stuff that they're doing. That's very spot on. And to what he said, that's very, very spot on. One thing that the world needs from Africa is talent. That is something that we can truly offer. That's one product ourselves. And that's why you see a lot of economies issuing global talent visas, nomad residency. You see Canada opening up its shores. You see doctors and nurses jackpotting every day. And that is because the world is in lack of talent. And so these are very, very crucial ways that we can position ourselves in the blockchain industry. Either yourself as a talent or even the products that you're building. And when I started, I said, when positioning yourself, you're pretty much just trying to show what you can do, right? And in positioning yourself, one important thing that we need to note is that we need to constantly develop. Now, you're a blockchain talent, you're a developer, you've learned XYZ, you've taken a lot of courses, right? How are you constantly developing yourself for the market that we're in? Now, the blockchain ecosystem is still very early, but we're very aware that it's a fast-growing space, and it's getting a little bit saturated. Before now, you just say that, oh, I can code, or I'm a Solidity developer. Before you know it, everybody's looking for you. But right now, the ecosystem is getting a bit saturated. We have more people coming into the ecosystem. And what makes you stand out, what makes us stand out, is how far we have developed our skills. When you're applying for a job, for instance, or you're applying to work in a company, yes, they ask for your CV. But most importantly, they want to see your profile. They want to see the past works that you've done. They want to see your success stories. They want to see your proof of work, right? I mean, everybody likes to make money, right? But while we are, hustling and doing all of the, navigating for opportunities, it's important that we put our talents to use as well, right? Join a developer community or, a group of people building amazing stuff just to practice your skill. Because when the time comes, when the main opportunity comes, they will want to know what you've done. Who have you helped? What have you done with your skills? How have you, really implemented any solutions in the blockchain ecosystem? Aside self-development, a very essential point here as well, while positioning yourself, while positioning your skill, while positioning your products, is networking. Networking can never be overemphasized. Networking is, there's a saying that your network determines your net worth, something like that. That's a very true statement. Because again, we can't be building in the comfort of our homes and just building. It's just going to be a best kept secret, right? But networking, collaborations presents that holistic approach to solving bigger problems. Why are we trying to export African blockchain products? We want investments into the ecosystem. Building is not cheap. Building is not free, right? But why would anyone invest in you? Why would anybody invest in your product? Why would anyone want to bring you on their project? It's because there is something there. There's value that you're adding. There's value that you're creating. And that takes me to business models. And this is something that I had to also learn during my journey. Most times when we're building, we're very, very much deep into, wanting the perfect product, UI on point, UX on point, users happy and everything. But how do you plan to sell? It's one thing to build. It's another thing to sell. Selling takes as much effort, even more effort than actually building, because now you've built it. You need to convince the other person that come and use my product. That's where even the major work is. So while you've taken your time, you've done all you can to build a very, very amazing product. Taking it to market is very, very essential. And it's essential to be done in a very structured way as well. And these are things that networking also help you with, right? Connecting with people, connecting with like-minded individuals, because that way it's easier to even access more opportunities within the ecosystem. And I think the final thing that I would touch on is carving your niche. The blockchain ecosystem is very, very wide. There are a lot of opportunities flying around. You see this person building this. I mean, we were sitting just here and we heard the co-founders, show us some amazing products that they're working on, right? So there are a lot of things happening within the ecosystem, and it's very, very easy to get lost in that whole euphoria and that whole hype. And as a developer, you feel, I just want to build everything. I want to do everything. I mean, it's not wrong to want to do a lot of things. It's not wrong to want to know something about everything. But what really sets us apart is what makes us different. What's your niche? What are you trying to sell? What message are you trying to portray? And when we have a particular problem that we're solving, and that's why I started with our notes. For you to carve a niche, it's important that you pick a problem that you're trying to solve, because that way you're able to set yourself apart from the crowd. And in exporting your products to the world needs to see what value that you're adding. What are you bringing to the table? It's not just about, building a fantastic product. That is very good. That solves 50% of the problem. But majority and most of the time, we're often stressed about how this product actually fits in the market. And that's why, I try to list out all of those few tips that I shared today. So while building, while innovating, while creating amazing products, it's important that we network, we grow our network, we grow our base, we connect with people. It's also important that we position ourselves. Because in positioning yourself, it means that you understand the ecosystem that you operate in, and you have an understanding of how to fit in that particular ecosystem. That way, exporting your work becomes easy, because you know that the world needs this product. And you've done your homework, you've done your research, you've worked out your business model. Business model being, how is this product going to make money? Except it's a charity organization, which is totally, a totally different ballgame. But if it's not meant to be a charity organization, we need to have at the back of our minds that to sustain a product, to sustain a skill, to sustain whatever, it's important that there is an actual revenue model. How am I going to make money from this product? Because these are also things that investors are looking out for. Investors are not just going to give you money because they like your face. They're going to give you money because they want to make money back. They want to make return on their investments. So while building, we need to have that also at the back of our minds, that we have a very solid business model as well as a solid revenue model in total. But I think I would stop here. But just to recap, right? We are very, very blessed with amazing talents, especially in Africa. And it's so painful. I was having this conversation with some of my bosses yesterday. It's so painful that when the world looks at Nigeria, especially, they just see volume. Volume, 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 numbers, numbers, numbers. We're more than that. So beyond just the volume, beyond just being degens, we're creators. We're very smart people. And that's where you see Nigerians traveling around the world, excelling in whatever it is that they do. So it's important that we start positioning ourselves that way, the way we want to be seen, and being very deliberate about self-development as well. So I'll end it here and probably meet everybody again at the panel session. Thank you very much.
A round of applause for Debbie. Debbie, would you like stay back for questions now? Or let's do it. So if you have questions for Debbie, you can basically raise up your hand. The ushers will just pass you a mic before she goes.
This is my favorite part.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Adeze Abba. So I want to ask, when you started, you said that you are not a developer, that you are a builder. So please, I want to know the difference. What does it mean to be a builder? Thank you.
All right. Should we take all the questions or? All right. So yes, I'm not a developer because I'm not a tech person. And so what I meant by being a builder is that I enjoy solving problems, and which is also my background in banking. When I was in banking, I worked for a bit in retail, then moved to strategy and innovation, pretty much just building products for traditional banking users. So as a builder, basically, what builders are, I mean, a developer can be a builder. A non-developer, a non-tech developer can also be a builder. But as a builder, you don't necessarily need to have tech skills. But of course, all builders need developers because when building a product, you need those tech skills to deliver or to deploy your products. So for me, being a builder means that there's a problem that I believe needs solving, and we think that we have the required skill set to solve those problems. And so that's pretty much what the journey has been so far.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, it's afternoon. I am Kevin Ezemo Blockchain, co-founder of Blockchain UNN. Now, my question is, why speaking? You said one should actually try to strike a balance as to knowing if you are building a product which people can use for free or a product which requires you to generate fund. Now, as somebody that loves the blockchain, generally, you would just want to build something that people should use, irrespective of if you have to put in marketing and money to make sure that people get to use it. Now, how do you strike a balance, or when do you know that you should make this free or you should make this product a paid product? And then, if at all you have to make it a paid product, how do you price it, to get the best out of it? Thank you.
All right. Thanks for that question. So the first, I think there's two questions. When do you know when to make a product free? And when you're ready to make it paid, how do you price it? Right? So what we've realized in the blockchain space is that it's really, the blockchain ecosystem is community driven, right? And speaking from experience, also depending on the product that you're offering, right? You could say that, okay, to launch out this product, because we want a lot of users. Take, for instance, Facebook is free. Facebook is free, but do you know how they make money? Through ads. Do you understand? So it depends on the type of business model that you think works for you and the kind of product that you're building. Take, for instance, Facebook. Facebook was smart to say, everybody, you can sign up, you can create your profile. They knew what they were doing. They have millions and billions of users. But now, if you want to put an ad on Facebook, you're putting an ad on Facebook because you know that they have users. That is their business model. They are leveraging the user base, the large user base that they have, to monetize their product. So what you can say is, okay, I want to make my product free so that I can get a lot of users, and then leverage, ad placements, marketing, depending on the product. Not all products will go with that, that model, right? But what you can also say is that I'm building this product. Let me even see how people will buy into it. Make it free. Get a lot of people in. And then what you can do is, over time, add on specific features that you know that people will want to pay for. Just like Spotify, just like iTunes. You can use your Spotify for free. You can use your iTunes for free. But there are certain features that you cannot access until you pay. So there are different ways to coin it, just depending on what product you're offering. But I hope I was able to answer your question a bit. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I'm Chooks. Thank you for coming around exciting to hear you and then get to know the difference between being a builder and someone who is into the whole tech development and everything. I just have two questions. Number one is, what are the top three trainings you've gone through before now that has been able to build you to this point? Then number two, what are the top two trainings you're looking forward to go to after now? Of course, I know some things have happened before now and then. What you're looking forward to do? Thank you.
All right. So let me just be straightforward. I didn't have any trainings before I started building. My training, what I did was leveraged my experience from traditional banking. And as a traditional banker, it was very easy to know that crypto is the future, blockchain is the future, right? And as an innovator, all I needed to do was to do a lot of research. Oh my God, I did a lot of research. And then when we started, I did most of my learning from people, from experienced people in this space. And that's why you see, if you follow me on Twitter, all day I'm on one Twitter space, I'm on one seminar, I'm listening to, because I don't like to read. I don't like to read. I don't know how I passed uni, but I passed. I don't like to read. But for some reason, because I enjoyed blockchain, I find myself reading. But I do more of listening. But again, to scale in a career, you can't just be flexing and reading online. So I'm currently, which is already applied for, there's a course, there's a master's degree in Malta that I filed for, master's in blockchain and distributed ledger technology. It's a master's degree for over a 1-year period. So that's like my next stage of learning, to answer your second question. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is
Hi.
Victoria. I wanted to ask as a builder, and then you're not into the tech part, you're not a developer, but you have an idea of something, of a product. How do you go about it? Like, because you said we should build a niche, and in my understanding of a niche, it means like people that are interested in the same thing you're interested in. But you have an idea. How do you like get it out to people that can actually develop it? Then you act. And my second question, you said that a developer can actually build. So does being a builder alone, is it like a limitation, or how do you as a builder be able to know, gain your space in blockchain? Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that question. So to start with, the reason why I'm taking that master's degree in Malta is because I want to have an understanding of the tech aspect. Now, I've really suffered because I'm not a tech person. And what I would advise is that you're a builder, you have an idea, you're not a tech person. Find a technical person that could probably be your co-founder or a core team member. Because what that does is, and first, your vision has to be clear. Because if your vision is not clear, it will be hard for another person to buy into it. So first, your vision has to be clear. You need to know what you want to do first, so that you're not going back and forth. You build today, cancel tomorrow. It's a lot of work to build. And it can get frustrating when you're not structured. So when your vision is clear, and which also has a lot to do with networking, you know people, you meet people, you know different developers, just share with them, this is what I'm thinking, what do you think about this product? Of course, people that you trust, people that will not go and build your idea behind your back. Do you understand? But so you share that vision with people that you know that can build this thing with you, but also make sure that you learn during the process, which is a mistake that I made when I started. I had an idea. We hired amazing developers. In fact, I might be recorded. Is this live? Okay. I don't think I'm ever going to work with a Chinese developer again. I don't think so. It was a very, very terrible situation for us. First, the language barrier. Secondly, I think these guys just didn't give. They didn't. So, but right now we're working with very amazing Nigerian guys. Very, very amazing guys. And so, but first things first would be to share that vision with a tech person who can probably even come on board as a co-founder. Because what happens, I know people are always saying, oh, I don't want to give out my shares. I don't want to. The truth is, when you have a tech co-founder, the only way they make money is if that product does well. So they will put in their efforts, they will put in their time into making sure that that product does well. So, but while at it, make sure that you equip yourself. Ask questions. Don't leave it to them to figure out. Ask questions. Also understand, because as a builder, as the idea person, you need to understand the technical requirements, because it also helps you to come up with better ideas and go-to-market strategy. Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon. I am Ojengbede. So I really want to add to what you said about equation, then job mine. So when you come up with an idea or something you want to work on, I really think you should first of all keep it to yourself. If you know you are not that developed, you understand? I personally, you come to me with an idea, I talk with you 10, 15 minutes. I discover that in the space you're trying to build, you don't know anything at all. Like, you're very, very dumb. I work on your project and shoo, like you off. Because you don't really have anything to offer. So I think you should work on yourself, work on your mind. Then just know that you can offer something. Then come over, let's build. And you talked about people wanting to make money, but there's a very, very huge problem. Everybody wants money. Yeah, everybody loves money. You want to make money, but not everybody knows how to make money. And that's the problem. So people don't really know the right question to ask. So I just want to ask you, when you were starting with your career, like, what are the questions you asked yourself? Like, what question did you really ask yourself? Because it's when you have a question, put out the question, trying to answer those questions, then I really think it will help ignite you, boom, like, So what are the questions you ask yourself? Thank you.
All right. Thanks for that question. So as someone who has worked in a corporate setting and also built products in the past, when I was launching out, when I was leaving the bank, I remember my ED vividly. She called me and she was like, Debbie, are you sure you want to leave? Like, you still have a chance to take back. I mean, I was working in the bank. I'd been promoted 2 times in 3 years. And it was looking all good and interesting. But to be honest, I was getting bored because it was just the same, thing. And then she was like, Debbie, are you sure you want to do this? What if you fail? That was the question she asked me. And I actually never thought about that before. Right? And so when you're going all out to build a product, first thing you ask yourself is, what if I fail? What am I going to do next? Is this do I have plan B? Do I, But in a case where you are actually solving a problem, there is no room. I mean, there are opportunities for failure, just that when you fail, it's an opportunity to learn and do better. But a question that I ask myself every time, and that's why if I give you my pitch deck today, and you check it maybe in 2 days, it has probably changed or it has probably been updated. And that is because I ask myself, what problem am I solving? Because that way, it changes everything. What's the direction? Because what problem you're solving determines the kind of target market you're looking for. It determines the kind of users you're going to have on your platform. It even determines the kind of investors that you're going to get into your business. If you're not able to answer that question, what is the problem going on? And if you're able to answer that question and you realize that this problem is unique, there aren't any other people solving the same problem, because that's what investors ask you. What problem are you solving? How is it unique? Or what's the competitive advantage, with other people building similar things, right? But the main question is, what problem are you solving and why? Every other thing revolves around that question. And that also ties to the first thing that you said, that when a builder comes to you or somebody has an idea and they don't seem to be making sense or they've not thought it through. Because when you know what you're solving, that's the first question, actually. Because that way you even know, okay, so this is a problem I'm solving. This is the product I want to use to solve this problem. And because it's solving a problem, people will pay for it. If you're not solving any problem, people will not use your product. Because why would people use a product that is not useful for them? So that's a very major question that you need to ask yourself. What am I solving? And, how can my product fit to actually solving this problem?
Hi, Deborah. Such a pleasure to finally meet you in flesh and blood. Yeah, I've actually been looking forward to this opportunity, and I'm so glad that it's finally here today. All right, my name is Victor Ani. I'm the co-founder of
So what?
Ani.
Are you related to Chris Ani?
We're probably from the same.
Okay.
Yes, from the same part of Enugu, actually.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah. So I'm the co-founder of a Web3 health tech company.
Web3?
Health tech
Health
company.
tech.
So Secure Health. We are basically into healthcare data analysis and data management in the healthcare space. Okay. My questions. I just have two questions. The first one is, first of all, I want to commend you in what you guys are doing at Afen Blockchain. In my few years of being in the space, in the tech space, and then in the blockchain space, or more, I must confess, it's no easy at all.
Tell me about it.
I don't see enough shege. I'm not gonna lie. So my first question is, when you started Afen Blockchain, um, building a blockchain project is actually capital intensive, right? So my first question is, how were you able to raise your first funding round? Because just like I said before, building blockchain products is quite capital intensive. You need to keep your developers motivated enough, or else they will show you shege. Yeah. So how were you able to do that? And then uh, what's the second question? What keeps you motivated? Because as a founder, talking from my personal experience, that a lot of times that I wake up in the morning, I feel like I'm not doing again. Like seriously, because it can be really discouraging, especially when the people you are leading or the people you are working with, uh, you need to keep them motivated enough for them to work. Else, you can just have developers. You think that you are with them, but they're not with you. They can be busy doing something else. So how do you motivate yourself enough to also keep them motivated? So that is my second question. Thank you.
Thank you for those questions. I think you asked about three questions. So first, on how we raised. So for us, the model is a bit different. We don't. It's funny that we were actually also having this conversation yesterday. We don't raise to boost valuation. That you hear that, oh, these guys raised $8 million at $100 million valuation, and they are now a unicorn company. We just wanted to build. We just want to build. We want to build solutions. And I mean, our first raise, which we're still actually in the process of raising, because we're not done raising our pre-seed. We're over 20 months now, right? But I think what really helped our raise was being able to make our vision plain. And it still goes to what he said, right? Which is also what investors want to hear. What are you building? How are you going to make money from it? And how are we going to make money? Those were the things that we needed to put in place, right? This is the vision, this is what we're trying to build, and this is how we intend to implement. And so what we do is, instead of raising a huge figure, we raise in tranches based on milestones. So, okay, this is the first thing that we want to focus on. This is our long-term, this is what we want to be in 3 years, 5 years. Mafa is going to be the Oga Patapata of blockchain products in Africa. But over 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, 1 year, these are our milestone targets. And this is what we need to get us onto which is very tedious. I hated talking to investors. I'm very sorry to investors who are probably in the room. But it also helped me, because for every meeting I had with investors, I learned something. After every meeting I have with an investor, there's always something to update on my pitch deck, right? So speaking with investors, all those questions that they ask really helped us to actually shape and also, put us in a better place for the next investment conversation. But securing investments is tedious, but to get in that place, it's important to have a very structured business model, because that's what investors want to see. They want to see that you have a strong idea, most likely even an MVP already, a product that they can see, right? And they want to see that, okay, what is your long-term plan? And can this team deliver all of the things that they've promised, right? Investors mostly invest in the team. And it takes me to your next question. When you talked about what keeps me going, there are times that it's not even when I wake up, before I sleep, I'm like, what has happened today? I'm so tired. And that's why when people ask me, oh, can you advise builders in the space? If you don't have the willpower, don't build. You don't need to build. Don't build. Get a job. Join a community. Join a project. Join Blockchain University of Nigeria. Build with them. Build with people that are building. Because building takes a lot of energy, emotional, mental, physical energy. And if you're not passionate about that thing that you're building, you're going to get frustrated. And you would now realize that you've wasted so much time and energy. So what keeps me going, right, is the passion for that problem that I'm solving. I know that, because again, what will fuel you and what will keep you going is what you're seeing in front, right? Because most of the people won't see it. Like you said, sometimes you're going left, your developers are going right. You're the founder, you're the one who sees what you're working towards. So that alone, and that's why all of those things have to be put in place before you even start building. So that in itself is what keeps me motivated. And how do I motivate my team? How do I motivate my developers? How do I motivate my team members? It's simple. Of course, something I also had to learn over a period of time. Your developers are also human beings. They have goals. Understand their goals. Understand what why are they working with you in the first place? They're not working with you. Yes, you're paying your developers, but you also need to understand what does your team want? Like individually, I have a personal relationship with virtually everybody on my team. It's time to go. All right. Thank you. I have a personal relationship with everybody on my team. When you know what these people want out of life, it's easy to also help each other, right? These people have goals, they have aspirations. How can you also support them, right? Most likely, the developer working on your project also wants to build his portfolio, right? So they need to do the work right. But it's relationship. I think that's the word. Building a relationship with your team goes a long way. I remember that. oh, Okay, there's no member of my team here. The last fall scarcity. This was difficult, but I sent fall to everybody on the team. It was hard because it was a lot of money. But again, these people are working with you. I will go on Slack. Everybody is saying, "Who has fuel? I've been on the queue since yesterday." Little things like that, actually showing that you care about these people beyond just working together, goes a long way in sustaining and motivating your team. Thank you. Any other